we really do. Page
No,
page 125.
I was talking to Cooper.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry. So Marcus is not here. I cannot get this test returned to this kid. Every time I go to return it, he's not here. When he's here, I forget to return it.
He was here today.
He's missing a lot.
What's he, Skipper, big Skipperson?
Yeah, I mean, I saw him skipping down the hallway, so yeah.
But Cooper Pell, ladies and gentlemen. Adrian Trevino.
Yeah.
Danielle Heflin.
Thank God.
Long time back, Adrian Trevino, this is you. We're not recording already.
Like, you were like, we gotta get to it. So
Okay, that's fine. No, that's fine. That's fine. Just let it roll. Let it roll. Let it roll. Let it roll.
Yep.
All right. So, pretty much finished reading everything last night of all that scholarship. There's one big article that I'm going to kind of work through some, but I want to try to pull all this stuff together and maybe after the quiz tomorrow we can start to get into some of this stuff. Because like I said, there's really three separate yet related areas I want to talk about with you guys. Yes?
This is actually my Yankee Euro folder. Can I have a pass in my locker real quick?
Why, yes, you may.
Anonymous person.
Anonymous person who will not be named on camera, just fill out the rest.
And you're gonna walk right past her.
And then you go, well, she may duck under.
You specify
Or he,
girl.
whoever it is, he or she may duck under the camera and not be noticed.
Yeah, Christian can duck under the camera and not be noticed.
You can walk over there and not be noticed.
So could Cooper.
Oh, oh, okay.
I think Danielle's too tall.
Love this class. Okay, we are on page 125. We've got to read through 603 and then talk through the end of the book, which is through 620, and then, of course, quiz tomorrow. And again, it's going to be the vocab I gave you plus 5 multiple choice questions, random grammar, style, whatever. Okay? Where are we in time and in place in this story?
125?
Well, I know that, but I mean within the story. Where are we?
He's looking at Helen.
He's looking at Helen, but
And
not
he's-
like that.
And he's talking to himself about how hungry he is.
He's talking to himself about how angry he is. Cannot believe he wants to kill her. Cannot believe that she may possibly do a variety of things in Columbus. In Columbus. In Columbus.
Oh, sorry, I was thinking.
What's in Columbus mean?
Safe.
Safe. Now, remember, look at lines 577 and following. We've got 3 future tense verbs. First off, just lay them out. What are the 3 future tense verbs? 577 and following. Yeah, Christian gives one.
We David.
With David. I think that's the
maybe the
second of 3 or that's the third of the 3.
Okay, my bad.
That's the third of the 3.
I see another one.
Give us another one, somebody. Christian again.
Ebit.
Ebit is the second of 3. A spicky, yes. Good, there's the 3.
Is that in subjunctive?
They're all future indicatives. It's a third IO verb.
Oh,
so the E
right.
is future.
I almost forgot.
She will look upon, she will go, she will see. In Columbus, and we've had this multiple times, we've got to keep coming back to it. What part of speech is in Columbus?
Adverb?
It's not an adverb, but that's what you want it to be as an English speaker. It's an adjective. She being in Columbus is modifying the implied subject of each of these verbs. She being safe. We would never say it like that. English idiom is, will she do these things safely? Will she do these things in safety? We would have to say it that way. Latin much prefers the adjective there. And we've seen that bunches of times. But I don't think, it would not be incorrect. In fact, it would be better to translate it as an adverb if you were going to do that. Seriously? She's going to get to do all this stuff without even a scratch? She's going to get to look at Sparta and her homeland. Going to get waltz along as a queen. Some sort of triumph. She's going to get to look at her husband and all this kind of stuff. And what really is the rub? Komatata? Iliadum turba?
With like a crowd of Trojan women.
With a crowd of Trojan women coming along and, I don't know, holding up the train of her dress so it doesn't get dirty. Come on. For this Priam died and Troy burned and we sweated through the shore with blood, non ita. And we were finishing it up with that yesterday. Not so. Nam quetsi nulla memorabile nomen feminaein poenas nec habet victoria laudem. Extinse nefas tamen et sum sisse merentis laudabor poenas. He's really getting worked up here. Num quetsi.
Surely.
For even if. Num is for and etsi, even if. He says, even if. There is nullum memorabile nomen. There's no, okay, literally no memorabile nomen. No memorable name in feminea poena. In a punishment of a woman. What am I going to do if I go and kill this woman? It's not like you can brag about it. Because there's nothing really glorious about killing a woman. Right? I mean, we just don't do that kind of thing in our culture, right? You know, man to man will kill a man, that's fine. Killing a woman, that's, there's nothing memorable about that. It's dishonorable, usually, to do something like that. Okay, you're thinking the way Aeneas is thinking. That's exactly right. He says, even though there's no memorable name, there's no glory in a feminine punishment, nor does this Victoria habet laudem.
Happy victory.
Let's be precise here. Nor does this victory habet laudem have any praise. Even if I am victorious over this particular enemy, I'm not going to get a trophy for it. Nobody's going to be singing my name for it. I'm not going to get a plaque from the Rotary Club that says, to Aeneas, you killed a woman. Not going to get that. Tamen. However, nevertheless, extinxisse sum sisse. What parts of speech do we have here? Looks like a superlative adjective because of the double S, but they're actively not the subjunctive either.
Oh, are they passive?
They're, I know.
Passive pluperfect?
They definitely look like a pluperfect subjunctive. They're not that either. It's the third thing that could possibly have a double S. It's not superlative. In fact, let's talk about it. Okay.
Oh, I know it.
Remind me to make a joke when that is done.
Alright.
Okay. Don't let
Why
me-
did you say
I-
that?
This one I can't.
Well, you all remember.
It's,
just pause
it's
it?
historically inappropriate. Let's put it that way.
I can pause it very quickly.
Okay, so no, don't do that. That messes up video. So things that you recognize with the SS. You picked out a couple. There's superlative. Okay, superlative degree adjective. 2, pluperfect subjunctive. We're looking for number 3.
Isn't it,
Perfect. Passive participle?
So close. You're in the right area. I can tell.
okay, yeah, I know how it's supposed to translate. It's like, I shall be.
No.
Perfect active.
Perfect active.
Perfect active.
Infinitive. I don't know.
Infinitive.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect active infinitive. Right? Right? So for example,
No, I
Melius est visse quam I'm sorry, et amicisse quam numquam visse. Famous saying, you all know it. Melius est. It is better to have loved and to have lost than never to have loved at all. To have blank, that's your perfect active infinitive. Okay? I'm not going to get any trophies on the mantle for killing a woman. I know that. There's no memorable nomen in it for me. There's certainly no laudes. There's no praise in it, but nevertheless, to have extinxisse this nephos, to have destroyed this wrong, this evil, and we're going to talk about that. To have sumsisse merentis poinas. Now remember, we had the idiom yesterday. It's right up above there, top of page 576. Scelerata sumera poinas. Now he repeats the language. Sumsisse poinas merentis. What do we say sumera poinas meant? To exact punishment, right? He says, but to have extinguished, to have wiped out, to have obliterated this nephos, this evil, to have exacted merentes poinas. This deserves punishment. Check the tense and the voice. Laudabor.
Present.
Now present. More.
Oh.
Future.
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 Oh.
Passive. I shall be praised. No. To kill an ordinary woman? No. There's no glory in that. In fact, that's dishonorable. But this is no ordinary woman. And notice the word he uses for her. He doesn't say that she is nepharia. That would be bad enough to use the adjective form of this noun. He says that she is herself nephos. She is evil. Right? We have talked about this word before back in third year, I know. Are we done talking about phos and nephos? Haven't we talked about that enough? Or no? Yeah, look, if you go back over and over and over. For, fari, fatus, look. In the beginning was the word, NRK, in hologos, right? Everything comes back to words. Speaking. Divine will. Everything is about the word. So phos is the divine will, that which has been spoken by Jupiter. This is the highest form of lex and use, right, in a continuum. Right? Phos is at the top. And then lex is your legislative law, and use would be like justice and rights and that kind of thing. And then the opposite of phos is nephos, that which is against the divine will. This is as evil as you can get. And you're always an evil wretch, or
it's what it says in the book. It says
or something like that. Yeah, that's great. The only problem I have with impious wretch or impious wretch, the only problem I have with that is that the word nephos itself, there's nothing personal about it. Wretch is a word for a person. Nephos is just the very raw concept of evil. She is, and again, even if you use evil, it almost sounds like you're using it like an adjective. She is bad. No, she is badness. Okay? Right? She is the very embodiment of that. And to have wiped that out, to have exacted deserving punishment, I will be praised for that. Yeah, what's your beef, Caitlin? You got a beef. You're sighing. Got your shoulders back. I mean, you're ready to fight with either me or Virgil. I don't know. Somebody. Oh, come now. You can't sigh and give that much body language and not share with us. Come on now.
I think she's
We're family
so
here.
upset
Come
there's
on.
no words.
What's that?
I think she's so upset there's no words.
Well, that may be true, but what do you come on, you're the soul of a poet. What are you upset about?
Helen didn't do anything.
Oh, you're back on that. You're back on that.
Of course I'm back on that.
Come on.
Well,
What do you mean she didn't do anything?
She caused the
Give her
entire
away as a
war by
prize.
cheating on her husband.
She
She didn't.
She was stolen.
Yeah, she was
She
stolen.
And
She
they
still
decided
did
to start a
nothing.
war about it.
She still did nothing to leave Troy, even though she could have at some point.
Wait,
Tried.
When?
Sometime in the middle of the 10 years of the war, she could have at
can't
least
just-
tried
you can't
once.
just
War,
Up
it's a
and
war.
leave.
Hold up. There were 10 years. Sam's right.
There is a war on.
Yes,
Walk
there's
out
no
the door.
point.
War she
Okay.
couldn't have snuck
You
out.
can't just go to
I
the
looked
back
at-
and say, wait.
They
I don't
did
need
not
that.
fight at
Wait.
night.
We don't even know if
In
it's
the
happened.
Iliad, they
Right.
no one fought until
Right.
at night
It's
until
not
that
Still an
in the
army
Iliad.
out
back
there
in
is
the
that.
story.
This is fiction.
But if you,
Suspension of
if there's an
disbelief,
army,
please.
the Trojan army is in their houses sleeping, as Aeneas was.
Yep.
And then she could just walk out, go to the Greeks, and say, let's go home.
Besides, who's the idiot who started the war in the first place? I mean, he
Menelaus.
got his woman stolen. I mean, don't start
You
a
don't get
10-year war about
Well,
it.
I
fair-
thought you were like for feminism, and then you said his woman.
She was
You like
beautiful.
All he did
objectified
was,
there.
all Menelaus did
Now, I
was
gotta
go back
say,
in there.
I gotta
I'm
say,
on blew it
on
up.
the one hand, I definitely hear this. A little bit underneath of that is this. You know, she's the woman. What does she do wrong? I almost hear a little bit of a feminist thing, but then I hear this guy couldn't even hold on to his woman. Now that sounds like the other side of.
Actually, that's not what I said.
The idea is not at all what you said. No, we're making a horrible caricature of what you said.
That's pretty much what he said.
No, it's actually not.
Okay.
He said that he couldn't hold on to his woman. That she
Now,
No.
let me ask you this.
I wasn't saying anything about him. I was saying that he's being like a child fighting because he got his toy taken away from him.
But that's his wife.
Do you
He's
think
in love with
back
her.
to Aeneas as a
Don't
character?
objectify women.
Back to Aeneas as a character.
Humans. Psychos.
I don't know, and certainly I'm not asking anybody to share anything or if this is true. Or, I don't know if anybody's, and I'll admit I have not, has suffered any kind of violent loss. I've certainly never lost a friend or a family member to senseless violence. No, I've never experienced it. But I would have to think that if I had lost someone to senseless violence, remember the Catullus poem about the brother? Poem 101. Indigne adempte mihi, he says, you know, you were unworthily taken from me, basically you were too young to die, and that kind of thing. If I lost someone close to me to senseless violence, I'm not sure what there is that I wouldn't be angry at, rational or not. If a drunk driver killed one of our children, I would be angry at the driver. I'd be angry at the bar the guy went to get the drink. I'd be angry at if I found out the guy had been drinking Jack Daniels, I'd be angry at the Jack Daniels distillery. I would be angry at the people who advertise for Jack Daniels. I'd be angry at everybody who even remotely had anything to do with that.
American government.
And I don't know, well, and again, I mean, maybe I'd be angry that there aren't stricter laws and all this kind of stuff. And so, you know, I think for Aeneas, I mean, he's just seen this stuff, right? And suddenly he's looking around and, you know. Now, you've got a point. And I think that's a whole other thing. In all of this, is Helen merely a pawn? And the other thing is, you know, Virgil doesn't do a whole lot with Helen as a character. That's more Homer and the Homeric cycle. So there's other parts of this story that don't even appear in Homer. For example, there's a story, I forget where it is, where Menelaus sees her at one point and is ready to run her through. This is during the Trojan War. He sees her's going to run her through, and he's so overcome by her beauty that he can't do it. So there are other aspects to the Helen character that are not in our story. But I think as far as just looking at Aeneas goes, I don't know that it's not a rage that you couldn't understand. His people have died. He just watched his king get slaughtered. Now, actually, who's responsible for that? Achilles' son. That's the guy who she'd really be mad at, right? But right now, he can't do anything to Achilles, so he doesn't see him around. Well, I see you. And you know what I'm saying? So I think you've got a great point. I mean, yeah, what did she actually do? Nothing.
Should we just blame us all on one person, and that's
Not
what's her
Eris.
name? Discord.
Eris.
Yeah, Eris.
Okay.
You should blame-
Well, and now, you know, so you GOK folks or critical thinking folks, either if you take either one of those classes, and you talk about logic, you talk about causation. Okay? and you have an immediate cause for something, so the cause of that noise, what was the cause of that noise? Actually, it was one chair hitting another. Now, what caused one chair to hit another? My foot. What caused my foot to swing out? A certain contraction of particular muscles. What caused the muscle to, the thought in my head, and it goes on and on and on. So there is a whole string of causes, and the question is, which do you blame, for example, in a case of law, for something? I mean, there's a whole chain of events that leads up to any other event.
I blame you.
That's fair.
That's fair enough.
I got nothing against that. I keep the desk. Okay. He says, but boy, I'm going to get praised for this. And animumque splace, you wabit ultricis flamet, kinere satiase meorum. And not only will I be praised for this, it will you wabit. It's going to help. It's going to help to have explasa and satiasa. Holy mackerel, we got two more what's here. Perfect active infinitive, says Rachel. It will help to have explasa, from expleo, explainer, to have filled up my animal, to have filled my soul full of ultricus flami, full of avenging flame. I'm going to feel better. I'm going to sleep better tonight. I know I killed this one. Now, and let's get the last part. And it will help to have satiase, to satisfy the kineres meorum implied hominum, the ashes of my people. This is dark. This is dark. It's dark, it's harsh, it's violent, and as we're going to talk later, as I unpack some of the scholarship stuff, for my money, it's real. Remember back to second year Latin and talking about Roman and Greek art, we've already talked about it this year, the difference, to me, this is a real character. I understand this. Can't say I've been there. Can't say I've done that. But I understand it. This seems real. Aeneas is not some cardboard character. It's not Superman who's always perfect all the time. This is not a particularly honorable thought. And in fact, he knows it's not an honorable thought to kill a woman. But she's still the naphos of his people. And quite honestly, it's going to make him feel better. Talia jactabam, et furiata mente ferrebar, cum mihi se, non ante oculis tam clara, videndam obtulit, et pura per noctem luce refulsit alma pares. He says, I was jactabam talia, pondering such things, and I gotta be honest, ponder. What? Ponder's from pondus, ponderus, neuter, means to weigh, right? Something that is ponderable. That's what it means to weigh out. Iacto iactare is related to the word eject. Iacto is to throw. Literally, I was throwing such things around. He's really wrestling with this stuff. And he says, I was throwing such things around. And I was, passive voice, ferebar. I was what? I was being borne along. I was being carried along by a furiata mente.
By a furious mind?
By a furious mind, a mind full of furor, full of fury. Now, folks, self-control is a good thing. A little healthy anger management, okay? And for this guy to be at the point that he's literally beside himself, right? He's literally being ferebar. I was being carried along. He's not really quite in control at this point, and he admits it. And it's right at that moment of lack of control when his mama comes along. Cum mihi se. Now, I've got an indirect object and a direct object here. Somebody give me the verb that goes with this indirect and direct object. I can give you a hint, the verb is not in line 589. And somebody give me the subject of the verb. That subject is also not in 589. It's not even in the same line as the verb. Where's the verb that goes with the mihi say? Obtulet. Good. Now, where's the subject of obtulet?
Dale?
Minimag, to accusative.
Oh, the subject matter.
You're in the right line, no.
Confessa?
Minimag.
Alma.
Alma parens.
Alma.
Alma parens. My nourishing parent. The nourishing parent is always the mother. And so this would be who? Venus.
Oh,
What's the
whoa.
mother?
Venus?
Mama Venus. I was all worked up, hot and bothered over wanting to kill this chick when my nourishing parent, obtulet se mihi, came to me as a fine enough translation. Let's get precise on it.
Resisted herself?
Okay, that's it. Ob plus pharaoh. Okay? Ob, ob, just by itself as a preposition, can mean on account of or because of. Okay? When compounded with a verb, it often has this connotation of you're getting in somebody's way or presenting yourself to somebody. And so she literally obtulet herself. She literally presented herself to me.
Is this in present?
Well, no, he's in fact he's telling the story to Dido, remember?
Right.
So he's reflecting back. And she refulsit per noctem in pura luce. What did she do?
Shine.
She shined through the night. Pura in luce. Like looks and sounds.
Pure.
In pure luce. In pure light. So there's this radiant, divine presence. She, having confessa Deum, it's implied confessa se Deum. From confiteor, confiteri. Having confessed, having revealed, say, implied Deum.
Revealing yourself as a god.
Having revealed herself as a goddess. Qualisque videri caelicolis et quanta solit. Qualis et quanta. She revealed herself, she confessed herself or showed herself as a goddess, both qualis et quanta.
Of what sort and as created?
Just in the same manner or sort, that's qualis, think quality, think qualitative. She revealed herself just in the same sort and in the same quanta, the same size, the same magnitude, as she solet,
As she was accustomed.
as she is accustomed, notice the passive voice, to videri, to be seen by the caelicolis, which is a beautiful expression for the deus. Let's get literally what caelicolis means. Caelum is what?
Sky.
Sky. The verb colo, cholera can mean to dwell. The sky dwellers. It's a great term for the gods, right? She appears to him just as she does on Mount Olympus. Just qualis in the same manner and in the very same quanta, in the fullness of her divinity, she reveals herself as she is accustomed to be seen by the other gods. Now,
Wait, that she's Venus.
she's Venus.
So like she's beautiful.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you.
she's Venus. Well,
What does it
Venus.
have to do with anything?
Now, didn't Aeneas, correct me if I'm wrong here, didn't Aeneas, go back to book 1.
When he saw his mother and he walked away and he was like, why? Why did you do that?
Yes.
Why do you never show? yourself normally.
Both of you got it. When he meets Venus dressed as a Spartan huntress, which is earlier in the context of this book, but in the flow of the story is actually after this event, right?
Right.
And she turns away, and Virgil says that the divinity was revealed as she walked away. And he is so upset, and he says, why can we never really see each other face to face? Why all this pretense all the time?
And this is in the past.
Here's clearly an example where, you know, this is always like that, Aeneas. There has been at least one time. So, I don't.
Overgeneralized.
Maybe it's a few years ago,
It's also
and
just following the story.
what's
It's
that?
also following the story that he asks, why can't I ever see like this? And then later in the story, he's explaining what he does.
Which he was explaining that he already had
Well, he had.
in the past. So, anyhow,
It's just like
here she is. And she dextraque prehensum continuit, rosioque in super adidet ore. And she continuit. Can't take the derivative there. Take one of the definitions they give you there.
Restrain.
She restrains me. She restrains me. Me, having been prehensum by her dextra, having been grabbed by her right hand. She was on the right. Good labels. Having, she pulls me back. She pulled me back.
See about that.
And with her rosio ore,
And with her.
with her rosy mouth, she added it haec insuper. She added these things in addition. She says, nate. Child. Child.
Child.
Child. There you go. Honey child.
You guys are messy.
Okay.
What's Honey Boo Boo?
It's a show on TLC or something.
It is really? I don't know that
Get
one.
back to this.
Okay.
Don't.
I was going to ask in which James Bond book and movie did the Bond girl named Honeychild Ryder appear?
The second.
Octa.
Nope.
I don't know.
Much
not
earlier than that.
Moonraker. no.
Much earlier. than
Goldeneye.
Much earlier.
No,
than
that's later. Yeah, Dr. No.
Dr. No.
That's what I said.
Dr. I'm sorry, Dr. No. The girl in Dr. No is named Honeychild Ryder. Okay.
No,
Hey, speaking of Bond, the next one.
Skyfall, I know.
Oh
Can't
my
wait.
God.
Can't
Seriously.
wait.
And like the shot where he jumps onto the train and like fixes his cuffs.
I'm excited.
I just
Dude, I gotta say, I love, was Daniel Craig?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think he's a good Bond.
absolutely.
I think he's a good Bond.
Why?
And he was great in Born too.
And
He's
he's
good.
bad.
Or no,
Son, she says, child, quis tantus dolor.
What pain.
What tantus dolor?
What's so great?
What such great pain? Excitat these indomitas eras.
The rouse.
Stir up or arouse these indomitas eras.
Uncontrolled anger fires.
These uncontrolled fires. You're hurt, son, I get it. You're hurt. Tell mama all about it.
Considering she's
Okay.
one of the main causes of this.
Yeah. Wait, yeah,
I
let's.
was gonna say, like,
You wanna
she
talk-
better defend Helen because you put her out there.
There you go. You want to talk about who's to blame in all
And
this.
that's why she's defending Ellen right now, because it's kind of her fault.
It is kind of her fault. Maybe she feels a little responsible.
She's
you know.
show me.
I know, I heard
And she's like, yeah, I threw girlfriend under the bus there. I gotta do something to help her out here.
So she was up there just like.
All right.
Ooh.
By the way, and I'm not seriously, I'm not going to detract a little. Do we know the movie Braveheart? Yes or no?
Oh,
Yes.
You mean
Freedom! My name is William Wallace.
When William Wallace goes to meet the French princess who's married the king's son for the first time, her attendant whispers in her ear in Latin that William Wallace is lying and that he is a savage. He replies back in Latin, he replies back in Latin, ego nunquam mendacium pronuntio, sed ego sum homo indomitus. Here's your same words you've got right here. He says, I never speak a lie, but I am a savage. But I am an indomitus homo. I am an uncontrolled man. Okay. So that word appears there. So now you know. Okay. He says, she says that. She says, quid furis. Now, quid can very often be a core. Why? This is kind of like for what reason? But why do you furis? Why do you rage like this? Or quonam nostri tibi cura recessit. And she says, or quo is where, or quonam is where in a sense of to where, or it said, it's a good word, it's just old fashioned, whither.
Yeah.
Quonam is whither. To where or whither. She says, why do you rage? Or whither does tibi cura, does your concern or your care, or has your concern or your care, recessit from nostri? Departed from us. If you had a problem, son, why didn't you come to mama? There was no need to get so angry. There was no need to, burst a vessel in your head there where you're getting all worked up to kill Helen. Hon, come talk to mama. That's what I'm here for.
Isn't he just standing there though, like talking with her?
Yeah.
So he wasn't like actually about to like do anything. He was just like.
Oh, he seems on the verge of the. I mean, to me, he's on the verge of like leaping down.
His last words were like, "This is gonna be awesome."
Yeah, his last words were, "I can't wait to drink her blood." I mean, it's basically, dude is ready to like swing down into the courtyard and gut her like a fish. I mean, so Mama is there you go. Non prius auspicies ubi festate parentem liqueris anquisem? Will you not prius?
No, sir.
Will you not first auspicies? See, ubi, where you have liqueris, where you have left your parentem